Hello, and welcome to Everyday Simple Somatics, a podcast dedicated to helping you find healing through your body's natural wisdom. I'm Dr. Christine Baker, and I'll be your host. I wonder if you have ever left a conversation feeling utterly confused and like, what just happened to me? Like maybe you went in knowing what you experienced, but somehow left doubting your own words, your own memory, your perception, maybe even your own sanity. Like you start asking yourself after the meeting, am I the crazy one? Maybe someone told you that never happened when you know it did, or you're being too sensitive when you know that you had a legitimate concern, or you're crazy when you just tried to express how you felt. And afterwards, you feel this kind of fog, this disconnect from yourself. Like maybe I can't even trust my own mind anymore, my own perception of reality. That is gaslighting. It doesn't just mess with your thoughts. It creates very real effects on your body and your nervous system. And so today I want to help you understand what is gaslighting, what happens in your body when you experience it. And then we're going to work on a practice called reality anchoring that is going to help you kind of come back to your own truth. And for those of you that I don't know, I'm Dr. Christine Baker. I am a licensed professional counselor, and I have been a trauma therapist for over 13 years. I am also a somatic experiencing practitioner, which just means that I'm a person that believes strongly that mental health healing happens when we address the stuck places in our body and our nervous system, hence the creation of this podcast. My hope is that these short little episodes will give you practical skills to weave into rhythms in your everyday life so that caring for your nervous system becomes second nature. And so if that sounds interesting to you, I'd love to invite you to hit the like and subscribe button on whatever platform you are currently listening or watching. All of those little clicks really do help other people find this material. So let's start with the basics here. What is gaslighting? I feel like this term is used all over, all the time, everywhere, and maybe a bit overused. And so I want to clarify exactly what it is. So gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone makes you doubt your own reality. And that could include things like your perceptions, your memories, your feelings, even your sanity. You know, the term actually comes from a 1944 movie that starred Ingrid Bergman, where a husband manipulated his wife to make her believe she was crazy by subtly dimming the gas-powered lights in their home and denying that he was doing it. And so this movie really brought that concept of psychological manipulation into the public sphere. And so what can it look like outside of dimming gas-powered lights in your home? I think it can look like denying things that person said or did, even if you have a clear memory of them doing that. I think it also can include people telling you you're too sensitive, you're overreacting when you're just expressing your emotional experience. It can include insisting that you're remembering things wrong, accusing you of being crazy, dramatic, unstable, trivializing your feelings or your experiences. And then this one's important, using confusion and contradiction to kind of keep you off balance. And here's the really important part too. Gaslighting isn't always intentional. I think sometimes people are gaslighting partners or friends or family members because they just can't handle being wrong. You know, maybe they've learned these patterns from, say, their own families, whether it's intentional or not. The impact on you is the same. And so let's talk about what happens in your body when you are being gaslit. Because as I say at the end of every podcast, and actually I think at the beginning of every podcast, your body has incredible wisdom. It knows what you experienced. It stores memories not just in your brain, but in your muscles, in your organs, in your nervous system. And so when someone tells you that your reality isn't real, it creates a profound internal conflict. Your body is saying, yes, this happened, while someone external is saying, no, it didn't. And that disconnect is really destabilizing. It activates your nervous system because on some level, your system knows, can't trust my own perception. I can't keep myself safe. And that's the nervous system's whole job, right? Is to keep us safe. So if it feels like it can't keep us safe, a lot is going to happen. Things like I'm going to start to feel disconnected or dissociated, like I'm kind of floating outside of myself, or maybe I feel a lot of confusion or brain fog, like my thoughts are getting scattered. I might have tightness in my chest or in my throat, like I can't even breathe or speak the words that are there because they're just going to be shot down anyway, right? It could be a pit in your stomach. It's like your gut telling you there's something wrong here. It could be shakiness or trembling because your system is so activated. And I think the one I see so often in my office is numbness, because your system has to shut down eventually to cope with the consistent denying of your own reality. And so over time, that chronic gaslighting can lead you to second guess everything you think and feel. You stop trusting your body's signals, you defer to other people's versions of reality instead of your own. And this is incredibly damaging to your sense of self and to your ability to stay grounded in your own truth. And so when we look at the science of it, like I mentioned a second ago, your body doesn't just store memories in your mind. There's this implicit memory, and that's memory that's stored in your body and in your nervous system, not just your conscious mind. And so when something happens, your body remembers it. Just like the book, Bessel van der Kolk, your body keeps a score, right? The nervous system remembers this is survival information. And so when someone gaslights you, they're essentially asking you to override your body's wisdom. They're asking you to prioritize their external narrative over your internal wisdom. And because humans are wired for connection and attachment, especially if this person is really important to you, say a partner or a parent, your brain just starts to comply. You begin to doubt yourself because the cost of losing this relationship feels way too high. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk actually talks about how trauma occurs when we are forced to override our body's protective responses. And gaslighting does something similar. It forces you to override your body's truth-telling, right? So over time, this fracture happens between your mind and your body, and you lose access to that internal compass. Good news is your body still knows the truth. So even when your mind is confused, even if you've been gaslit for years, your body holds the reality of what happened. And so the practice I want to teach you today is all about reconnecting to your body's wisdom and using that connection to truth and to your body's experience as an anchor in the midst of gaslighting. And so the practice today is really grounded in this understanding that your body is a reliable source of information. And so the practice really combines body awareness, grounding, and then like some validation, self-validation to help you reclaim that sense of reality. And I think this is something that you could do right after a gaslighting interaction or just anytime you're feeling disconnected from your own truth. So I want to invite you to just find a place that feels safe, that you won't be interrupted. You can just have a few moments to connect inside. And you can sit or stand, whatever feels most grounded to you. And I want to invite you to close your eyes, if that feels okay. And as you're kind of settling into your seat or into your stance, I just want to invite you to take 3 slow breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose. Let the exhale be a little longer, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth a little longer. And then I want to invite you to think about an interaction or a situation in which you felt gaslit. Don't go back into the whole story. Don't go back into all of the content. I just want you to almost like glance over at that moment and then come back to the screen watching me. And as you kind of glance over there and then come back to my voice, just notice what happens in your body when you bring it to mind. Scan from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, noticing, where do I feel something? Maybe it's tension or tightness or heaviness or something in your gut saying this isn't right. Maybe it's more in your chest or your throat or your belly or your shoulders. And whenever you find it, for me, it's in my stomach, I want you to place a hand on that spot, because I think this might be where your body is holding the truth of what you experienced. This is the part of you that's saying, nope, that wasn't it. And then if it feels comfortable, I want you to say this phrase out loud. My body knows what happened. This is real. Body knows what happened. This is real. And then take a breath into that place, kind of allowing your hand to be this compassionate witness to what your body is carrying, the truth that it's carrying. You don't have to fix it or change it. You're just acknowledging it. Your body's giving you information. It's telling you the truth. And once you've kind of connected to the way that your body is holding that truth, we're going to ground ourselves in the present reality. And this is so important because gaslighting pulls us out of what is real and into confusion and disconnection and dissociation. And so we are going to use our senses to anchor back into this moment. And so I want to invite you to open your eyes if they've been closed and look around the room for a moment. And I want you to see if you can locate in the room 3 different items that are the same color but different shades of that color. And once you've done that, I want to invite you to see if there's 2 noises that you can hear. I can hear my little fan. I can hear my feet moving on the carpet. And then if it's accessible to you, one thing that you can touch. So I'm kind of rubbing the end of my sweater here. If you're driving, you could just notice the feel of the steering wheel. Whatever senses you were able to engage in this moment, I want you to just pause. And as cheesy as this sounds, I want you to notice that this moment right now, you listening to my voice, is real. Those 3 green things I saw, that's real. Those noises I heard, that's real. Your body is real. Your senses are real. And then if it feels okay, I want to invite you as we close to just place a hand on your heart. Notice the breath happening underneath your hand. Notice the warmth of your hand. Maybe even feel your heartbeat if you can. And then I want you to say this to yourself out loud because I think hearing your own voice speak this truth really matters. And even if it doesn't feel 100 yet, it's okay. We're going to keep trying this on. It could take some time, right? Just repeat after me. I trust my body. I trust my experience. What I felt was real. What I experienced was real. I don't need anyone else's permission to know my own reality. So let your body really hear you say it. Let it sink in, almost breathing into each sentence. And I want you to just notice how your body feels now compared to when we started. You might still have some confusion. That's okay. Healing from gaslighting takes a lot of time because it probably took a lot of time for that person to get you into the kind of relationship where they could gaslight you. But I think you've done something really important today, and that is you've reconnected to your body's wisdom. You've anchored yourself in what is real, and you've validated your own experience. And so, like I said, I think it's really helpful if you can use this immediately after a gaslighting interaction. Even if you have to excuse yourself to the bathroom real quick, I think it could take less than 2 minutes to do this, because I think the sooner you reconnect to your truth, the less that gaslighting is going to stick. And I want to speak this with a lot of love and compassion to anyone who is currently in a relationship that has gaslighting within it. I just want to say gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse, and you deserve relationships where your reality is respected. And so I'd love to invite you to do this practice that we just walked through daily, really start to have a rhythm of validating your reality, because most likely the current rhythm is one where someone is telling you your reality is false. And so we have to offer the body something different. So I hope this has been helpful today. I'd love to invite you to like and subscribe so that we don't miss any future episodes. Next week, we are going to be talking about how to calm an overreactive startle response. And so this is going to be a practice for those of you who jump at every sound or you constantly feel on edge, I'm going to give you something to work with on that. And if you would like to dive in deeper to somatic practices like this one, I'd love to invite you to join the Somatic Wellness Collective. This is a monthly subscription service where we explore nervous system regulation through rhythms of on-demand classes, live classes, Q&As, guest lectures, movement practices, workbook exercises, all the things. So this is a great spot for any nervous system nerds out there. And you can learn more about that in the show notes if you're interested. So thank you again for being here. And remember, your body has innate wisdom. All we have to do is learn how to listen to it. And that's what I'm here for. I'll see you next time.